When Marvel announced that they were going to make an Echo spin-off series, a character that absolutely no one cared about and no one was asking for more of, they couldn't be happier because they probably thought to themselves, look at all this representation we have. A show about a woman who's also indigenous, who also is deaf, and oh, by the way, is an amputee. We've hit the absolute combo, the lottery, when it comes to diversity and representation. Unfortunately for them, as development went on, they did their best to cancel this thing because it was a nightmare. So much of it had to get reshot, and when you actually sit through and watch this thing, you can kind of tell why. It feels like they don't really have a goal with the character. It feels like she doesn't go through much of an evolution in this thing, other than to make sure you know that she can tap into her Native American roots, and that there's a long history of female girl bosses in her ancestry. And now that Echo's finally dropped, you can see the media's doing their best to make up for all of the bad PR that this thing had. Every single positive review that's out there right now, and there are several from mainstream sources, all the positive reviews say the same thing. Oh, the representation's just so amazing. It's so amazing to see this representation and diversity on screen. It's exactly what Marvel needed. Echo TV review, loud and proud, Disney's indigenous series is exactly what Marvel needs right now. I could not agree less. In fact, when you sit there and watch it, you will probably be driven crazy because of how long it takes people to talk, how many pauses there are as they're busy signing literally everything they say to Echo. And when it comes to Alaqua Cox, Maya Lopez's performance, it is painful. It's painfully bad. And we found out that she actually is not an actress. She had no acting experience before this. Literally, she was hired because she's indigenous, because she's deaf, and because she's an amputee. That's why she got this role. That's the only reason why. And when you look at her facial expressions, there's virtually no emotion at all. She's not an actress, and it's painfully obvious when she's on screen. But when anybody talks about this series, at least from the mainstream perspective, that's all you hear. Echo, what to know about Marvel's first TV MA series and its indigenous and deaf star? And that's another thing. When you look at this series, the fact that it's TVMA, it doesn't need to be. They made a big deal bragging about it's our first TVMA. They really wanted to make you think it was just going to be brutally violent. It's not. It's not much different from a lot of other MCU stuff we've seen, other than maybe the one headshot that we did see in the trailer. What else did they lie to us about? Oh, all those cameos that are there. The big Daredevil fight that got teased. Daredevil has 98 seconds of screen time in Echo. That's it. And it's the brutally terrible fight scene we see that literally exists to show everybody that, oh, look, she can go toe-to-toe with Daredevil. You really need to take her seriously. And then you don't even get me started on the powers that she has. They completely changed her powers from the comics. Why? Because they wanted to connect it to her Native American ancestry. They changed her powers in the comics just so they could be, hey, her new powers are to get powers from her ancestors who also all happen to be girl bosses. And she can share those powers with others around her, including other more powerful women. The whole thing is a cringe fest, but as much as there are some positive reviews out there for this thing, there's also a lot of people just straight up saying this show is trash. After its worst year to date, Marvel wanted a fresh start. Instead, we got Echo. But the boring Echo is another death knell for Marvel. Kill any hope the Marvel series would reignite some enthusiasm to the superhero studio. It's a third-rate snoozer that continues to water down the brand. Even Variety, Disney's Echo fails to live up to potential of its superhero TV review. And like I said, all the talk has been about how this actress is breaking down barriers, how this is incredible. It's a breakthrough for this franchise, this type of representation. And like I said, if you wanted me to show you where she says it, she does admit right here, Alaqua Cox, I believe that's how you say her name. It's been a great journey so far. It's been a wild ride because I didn't have any acting experience before this. Cox, 26, was working in an Amazon warehouse when a friend told her about the casting call for Marvel's new superhero, a deaf indigenous woman. And not to mention, she's also an amputee. And that is great. I'm glad you're proud of representing all these communities. However, she's a fucking horrific actress. She's not an actress. And she has the same expression on her face throughout virtually the entire show. There's no emotion almost at any point in time that she's able to display, and it's because she was cast simply because of these things that she has. Because she's deaf, because she's an amputee, because she's indigenous. Regardless of the fact that she can't act, that's why she was cast in this role. And despite some people's best efforts to try to convince everyone that, oh, this show's actually really good, guys. All the rumors out there were wrong. They were terrible. They were wrong. No, the rumors were right. There's a reason they dropped all 5 episodes of this at the same time on both Disney and Hulu. They're hoping that 1 week will go by, people will stop talking about it. They don't want weekly releases because they are just not confident in the product for a good reason. Whenever the Nielsen ratings come out for this thing, it's going to be interesting. It was dropped super early in the week. All 5 episodes, so basically almost 4 hours of content effectively, as opposed to their normal drops, which are 1 or 2 episodes. So you might get 45 minutes to an hour, 20 minutes of content that can be viewed and, collected by the Nielsen data. So this is probably going to do decently well in terms of Nielsen numbers, but the amount of people that actually tune in to watch this, I think, is going to be significantly low. Potentially one of the worst they've seen, even with dropping it on 2 streaming services at the same time with Disney Plus and Hulu. They lied to everybody about the TVMA. They lied to everybody about how important Daredevil would be. All we got was that leaked fight scene, which was miserably bad, which only exists to try to put Maya Lopez on the same level as Daredevil immediately, completely unearned. And her powers are simply the fact that she's related to a bunch of other powerful girl bosses who are also Native American, and now she can control their powers too. This is a cringe shit show, and we'll see what happens as more people continue to watch this and give their opinions. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.